Wouldn't it be great to have a forecast for the economy for the month of July? Well, here it is. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the month of July, specifically from July 1st to July 14th. The second half of July will be in a part 2 video, probably coming out on Monday. Finance, astrology, the Galactic Center. On July 1st, 2020, we're coming off of the close of the second quarter, where the Dow was seeing its best quarter since 1987. Things don't look to be shifting too much to start this next month. The sun is in sextile to Uranus on this day, which should mean continued improvement in the health of tech stocks at this time. On July 5th, 2020, the lunar eclipse will occur at 12:44 a.m. This will most likely avoid much of an effect on the markets because the markets are closed July 5th, 2020. But then we move to July 6th, 2020, and a retrograde Mercury comes within 2 degrees of a square with Mars. This could add an aggressive and impulsive nature to the way we communicate our business, handle trades, and go about dealings with others. Seeing this happen could mean that ideas, impulses, threaten savings and security at this time. We may be trying to tighten up, and yet we're being forced to open up. With Virgo becoming the new ascendant, it adds a more flexible nature to the markets, shifting from the more stable market that was experienced when Leo was occupying the ascendant during markets opening. If the market finishes strong after July 3rd, then this could present a small opportunity for some downward motion for the first time in a while. The moon's inconjunct at the start of trading to the ascendant could also add to the turbulence of this day. Keep in mind that the moon will have just completed a lunar eclipse a day prior as a result, and will be losing light all the way until the new moon, because a lunar eclipse happens when the moon is full. Another hint that the market could decrease in market stability and maybe even decrease in price. Now, retrograde Mercury will be at the exact midpoint of North Node and the Sun at the time of market close on July 6th, and this indicates a lot of confusion as to the status of the market by the time we close on this date. Note that Vesta will be contra-parallel to the Moon. It will be within 1 degree, separating in conjunction with the Sun. At the start of the day, the conjunction could be emphasizing the shift in market direction, up or down. And as we move on to July 7, 2020, the Sun is leaving its conjunction orb with Vesta. But at the opening of the market on this day, it is still parallel, which means it's acting like a conjunction, most likely acting as a continuation of the previous day's influence, only a slightly weaker one. With the loss of the contra-parallel to the Moon, that thereby creates the weaker aspect. At the market close on July 7th, the midheaven will now be in Virgo. So we have a shift, which, like the day prior, creates a shift in the market. We had a shift in the ascendant the day prior. Now we have a shift in the midheaven. The midheaven will now be Virgo, which, much like the day prior, creates a shift in the market, and the stable and instinctual nature of the fixed fire sign, which is Leo, is lost. And the grounding earthy vibe of Virgos now starts to set in. This brings in a needed practical analysis of the instinctual gut level trading that was going on for the period of time in which the market was opening with Leo as the ascendant and closing with Leo at the midheaven. The details will now be in focus as the investors will want more concrete understanding of the success of the prior quarter, which there was a lot of success. And investors will also be looking for evidence that supports narratives for growth and stability as we march forward into the future. Venus is right at the Mercury and Uranus midpoint, while making a sesquiquadrate, which is a 135-degree aspect, to Jupiter, which is upsetting the balance in the social spheres, with Venus at the midpoint between Mercury, a retrograde Mercury, and Uranus, so confusion, unconventionality, Venus ruling personal possessions. Now, all this is happening while Mercury continues to inch closer to an exact square with Mars. And Venus still is within orb of a sesquiquadrate to Pluto, meaning it is within 135 degrees of both planets that make up the wealth cycle. This could be signaling a bit of instability in the wealth cycle, which won't see the two planets, Jupiter and Pluto, in exact conjunction again until their final one of the cycle on November 12, 2020. As we move on to July 8th, just hours prior to the opening of the market, Mercury retrograde makes its exact square to Mars. This could show itself in the marketplace in the form explained previously, where impulsiveness, aggressiveness, high energy causes people some stress between saving and investing at this time, confusion mixed with skewed perceptions, and a heightened sense of paranoia. The moon is square to the midheaven at the start of the day and is likely to cause a feeling that the midheaven in Taurus, being close to transition to a new midheaven, has given all it has to offer, and that there is a desire to begin preparing for this shift. The moon is also in trine to the North Node at the start of this day and makes for an interesting mix between conflict and cooperation, square and trine. This could mean that the moon square to midheaven might stimulate the markets toward action, and the North Node itself could add enough flow and ease to allow the action to unfold. The fact that this happens in the late degrees of each respective sign could be signaling either a final buy or sell-off period. Pay attention to the events leading up to this day. They are sure to give hints as to what direction this will take. With Venus sesquiquadrate to both Jupiter and Pluto at this time, there is a sense that investors will be doing one thing and the markets will be doing another thing. The environment surrounding this aspect in general is sure to be one in which the will of the people needs to adjust and adapt to the shifting of the economy as well as the financial, political, and social landscape as a whole. Now note, the moon does shift into the sign of Pisces by the end of the day on July 8th and has the potential to create an entirely different atmosphere for trading in the late afternoon on this day than there was at the start. Either way, the 8th of July is set to be an intriguing one, with the moon opening in square to the midheaven and closing in opposition to the midheaven. These are close aspects and tough angles. On July 10th, 2020, as the market opens, Saturn is in a trine with the Taurus midheaven, which could signal some more stability to finish out the Taurus midheaven cycle. At the end of the day, Saturn is exactly at the midpoint of Mars in the ascendant, which means it could bring some real results to the action at the end of the day, especially with a decently tight grand trine, which is like ease and flow on steroids. The end of the day could be a decent one if these orbs are not too stretched on my part. And I can't help but speculate with the sun at the very critical degree of 19 Cancer to end the day with such exactitude that this could be a moment to profit after what seems like it may be a bit of a stumbling market if the shifts I discussed occur. With the market being left on such a high note, July 3rd, to come back to a shifting market may not be what everyone hoped for, but there could be some life on this Friday. My hope is that the grand trine and the sun's role at 19 Cancer can overcome any limiting factors Saturn may have in the scope of the trading day. As we move on to July 12, 2020, this is a Sunday, so the effect of the sun's trine to Neptune here, Neptune ruling drugs, pharmaceuticals, etc., may not be felt by the economy, at least not immediately. Mercury going direct would have an effect that is felt heading into the next week of trading. For Mercury, it will be in the stationary direct phase for 3 days, making these next few days entering the trading week charged up and powerful. All that was building up during the course of its retrograde period will be releasing. This alone could cause some or all areas of the market to hit a bit of a refresh button. Decisions and directions that were on hold will be given clarity and followed through with or dismissed completely. The days leading up to July 14th, July 13th, July 14th, July 15th, the couple days before, the couple days after. By July 14th, 2020, this Tuesday, the midheaven at the start of trading has moved from Taurus to Gemini. Both the ascendant Virgo and the midheaven Gemini are Mercury ruled. Mercury will have just gone direct. We talked about this at this time. This should usher in more consumerism, as well as a shift from the more stable, steady, and instinctual activity we witnessed in the prior month. This brings in a more intellectual and analytically based foundation. These days moving forward for investors may lay an extra emphasis on the details. With Mars conjunction to Chiron, the militant planet of Mars could see a new crop of violent events socially, with political and economic side effects. The suppression of aggression of one group being acted out dramatically in or on another group. The desire to look toward or for true leadership, which is represented by Aries and Mars, at this time may be met with people looking to place their faith in political, religious, corporate, and or technocratic leaders. This may or may not be the right decision, and lots of individuals and groups may place their fate in corrupt hands. The experiences initiated at this time through the universe or by social engineers will cause people to heal their own suppressed aggression, their own foregone, overdue assertion, and will have groups looking to stand up for themselves. This day needs to be given considerable attention as there is so much happening on the day and surrounding the market opening on this day and the market closing on this day. For instance, Vesta is contra-parallel with Pluto, acting like a conjunction, and the combination of these energies coincides with the Sun in Cancer's opposition to Jupiter and Pluto's conjunction in Capricorn, creating some tension between the planets of wealth creation, which is Jupiter and Pluto, and the Sun. Whether or not this will be favorable, I can't say for sure, but with the Moon within 1 degree of 12 Taurus and having just transited that sensitive spot of 12 degrees Taurus, prior to the market close, there is some concern here being within a few degrees of Uranus, which represents shock waves and rules technology, that this could be a turbulent time. Ceres, an asteroid, is also parallel to the ascendant at the close of the day. Will we see the compassionate side of Ceres? Or will we see the darker side here? With Scorpio, death and transformation, as the rising sign, the ascendant, for the close of the day, I think the market may be experiencing the darker side of Ceres, as Scorpio's ruler Mars mixes it up with the wounded healer Chiron through their conjunction. The Sun struggles for expression against the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. The nature of these things scream endings and beginnings with all the conjunctions, but the flow of the market shall dictate which one we see. The trending of the market may decide whether we see a real reversal here on this date, especially with the North Node so close to the galactic center, while the Sun and Neptune are still in a grand trine to the ascendant, with Mars and Chiron conjunct and sesquiquadrate to the ascendant at market close, also tells us that failure to adjust in Wall Street and in government may at this time leave the past creeping back up on us to correct what was left uncovered, what was left uncorrected, which means regulations, deregulations, shady banking practices. Chiron has a corrective nature in and of itself, and the picture of the planets on this day is leading me to believe some big things are happening around and on this date. So that's July 1st through 14th, 15th, right around there. A couple days before, a couple days after. Stay tuned because I'm going to do the rest of the month of July, probably on Monday. And then somebody asked me to do gold for next Friday. Someone commented, so I'm looking into that and seeing what I can come up with for gold and to make a video on that next Friday. If you like this video, please hit the like button, please share, please subscribe so you can get future notifications. These are just my forecasts. As I get better, as I do this more, I'll definitely get better, and then you'll have even more accurate forecasts in the future. This is what I have right now. Use your best discretion, use your best judgment when making investments, when making trades. I'm reading the planetary cycles best I can at the moment, always studying, I'm always learning, so bear with me. Yeah, that's what I have. I tried to tell you when the marks to go up and when it would go down, and I tried to use keywords for when I wasn't really sure when the markets might go up or when they might go down. I tried to use words that would translate to the market and would be applicable to investors based on what I was saying. And so hopefully this helps you out, and we can always check back and see how well we did. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.